Hey, hi YouTube, how are you? I hope you all guys are doing great. In this video, we are going to see all about keys. In the previous video, we have seen about pagination, where we have seen limit, offset, and also a very good interview question, which can be a very good differentiator between you and other students or other candidates. So today we are going to see keys, and this is going to be a complete theoretical video. We are not going to see any practical here, but in next video or in upcoming videos, we are going to cover a bit theory because this is really important to have a very good understanding about these keys. Otherwise, keys joins. Otherwise, you are not going to be. The job is not going to be easy. Okay. So first of all, let's see what is key. Keys are basically column or combination of columns used to uniquely identify rows in a table. Okay. Keys are column or combination of columns used to uniquely identify rows in a table. Okay. It also helps in establishing relationship within tables. Okay. So the way we can connect more than one tables. Okay. So first key, so these are the major roles we have to define it such that it can uniquely identify rows. And second, it should use to establish relationship between the tables. First key is our primary key. So primary key is basically it's used to uniquely identify a row. Okay, so let's suppose we have some columns, maybe employee ID, we have full name, we have department ID, we have salary. Okay, so let's suppose employee ID is 1, 2, 3, full name is XYZ, and department ID is 101, 102, 103, and salary is like 5,000, 6,000, $7,000. Okay, now primary keys are the key that uniquely identify the rows. So can this column be a primary key? No, because maybe there can be two Jacobs, there can be two Ram, there can be two Shyam, so name can be repeated. Can this department ID be a primary key which can uniquely identify a row? No, because there is a chance that the same person X is also working in department 101 and Z, maybe he will be also working on 101. So this is also not unique. Salary, definitely salary, because all the persons who are in the same department can have same salary. So which column can be a uniquely identifier, which is employee ID. So employee ID will be always and always unique. So this employee ID column will be called as primary key, such that it can uniquely identify each of the rows in this table. So it should uniquely identify all the records in the table. Then there should be no duplicate values, because if there will be duplicate values, then there will be the primary key will be not a primary key. If employee ID, because why we have not selected this department ID as our primary key, because there was duplication. Then also in primary key, there should be no null values. Okay, whenever we are selecting a primary key, let's suppose we are having hundreds of column, and when we want to select a primary key, then it should uniquely identify all the rows, that it should not have any duplicate, it should not have any null values, and so on. And every table has only one primary key. Okay, only one primary key per table. So each table has only one primary key. These are some rules which are defined so that it helps the database administrator to um, create tables and create connections. Okay, it's not very easy, because you, whenever I give examples or show to you, because you just show like four columns, five columns, and some rows, but in reality, when you have more than 10 tables, each tables are having more than 100 columns, each table is having 1 million rows, then this kind of things are really, really tough. Okay. And it's not that this simple that directly you can select any employee ID. Okay. Sorry, any primary key. Okay. So it's not that easy. Okay. Now, let's see what is composite key. Okay. After primary key, we have composite key. So by the name, it is getting a bit clear that it will be a composition of two keys so that we can get some composite key. So let's suppose I have student ID and maybe I have course ID and maybe I have enrollment ID. Okay. So let's take a very basic classical example. If you see student ID is 112, course ID is 101, 102, 101, and enrollment ID is XYZ, whatever. And not enrollment ID, it is more of enrollment date, let's suppose. Okay. So it will be enrollment date. So enrollment date can be anything X, Y, X. Okay. Because two students can enroll on the same day also. Okay. Now, if you see, is this column unique? No, because there are duplicate values. This can't be a primary key. This can be not also a primary key because there are duplicates. This can also be no primary key because it is getting duplicated because one student can enroll in multiple course. One course can be opted by multiple students, isn't it? That's why this table is looking like this. Okay. And on the same date, two students can enroll, or maybe 1,000 students can enroll. So here comes the problem that what will be the uniquely identifying object? Okay. Now, if you just see, if I combine this two columns, now if I see this two rows, if I see this one row with these two columns, 1 and 101, now this is unique. 1 and 102, this is unique. 2 and 101, this is unique. Now this two columns can become our primary key, and when there are more than one column which is acting as our unique identifier, then we call it as composite key. So you can say something like primary key with two columns. Okay. So there can be a very simple different definition that when single column is not able to uniquely identify rows in a table, we use combination of keys which is called as composite key. Okay. Now there are some more terms which is not very important, but I want you to explain. Okay. So there is like candidate key, then we have alternate key, then we have super key. Okay. Okay. So these are the okay. So these are the keys which we have to learn: candidate key, alternate key, and super key. Let's suppose in a table we have more than one columns which can uniquely identify the records, and all such columns are called as candidate key. Let's suppose there is 100 rows, sorry, 100 columns. Okay. And database administrator figure out that there are 5 columns which are fulfilling all the criteria of becoming a primary key. Okay. That can be, maybe it can be uh, all the rows are non-null, they are unique and all. So there are 5 columns. Okay. But after that 5, let's suppose there is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 4, column 5. But after looking each and everything, then database administrator thought that this column 2 will be the best key for becoming primary key. So they created it as a primary key. Now the rest key, which were candidate but didn't became primary key, are Okay, so the rest keys which were a candidate of becoming primary key but didn't get a chance to become a primary key, we call them as alternate keys. Okay, these are alternate keys. And all the five which were in the race of becoming a primary key, we call it as candidate key. And a subset or a set which is containing candidate key and alternate key is called as super key. It's that simple. And all this thing will you will not face if you are already working with a table which is already having primary key and all, which happens in most of the scenarios. But if you are working for your own database and all, you have like suppose 100 columns or more than 100 or 50 columns, and you have to decide what is the primary key. So the basic approach is, first of all, you have to find some candidates which you think is the best candidate to become primary key. But after analyzing all the column, you find that no, this column, this particular column is much better candidate to become a primary key. Okay, so you will select this column as a primary key, and the rest columns which were a part of candidate but didn't become primary key are called as alternate key, and the set which is containing candidate key and alternate key are basically called as super key. Okay, cool. So you can say super key. Let me write some information so that it can be a bit helpful for you. So I have tried to explain you, but right. Super key is basically, you can say, the broadest all keys that can uniquely identify rows. Okay. Then we have candidate key, which is minimal minimal version of super key. Okay, then we have primary key, so chosen candidate key. Okay, and then we have alternate key, which is unchosen candidate key. So super key, which will be having candidate key, primary key, and alternate keys. Candidate key, the minimal version, who are the right contender to become primary key. The column which will be chosen will become primary key, and the rest column which were candidate but were not able to become primary key are called as alternate keys. Okay, cool. There are some more keys, like one of them is unique key. Okay, so unique key is like it ensures that all values in column are unique. You might have in the constraints, if you remember first or second video, where we have learned about constraints. In that constraint, we have this unique. Okay, like in email, we want that the email column should be unique because no email should be repeating. So we can apply such constraints in that column. So whenever we are creating column, we do it something like this: na column, then data type, and then we add some constant. In the constant, we can add unique. Okay, so it's unlike primary key, it can have one null value. Okay, it can also have one null value, but in primary key there can't be null value. Examples I have given you, like email column. Okay, but mostly you will not face these keys: candidate key, alternate key, super key. You might encounter unique key, but alternate key, super key, and candidate key you will never phase in your life in initial phase. But primary key, composite key, and one most important key, which is foreign key, you will encounter a lot. Okay, and they are also more concerned about these three keys. So what is foreign key? Let me first explain you with an example. In real life, all the data is not in a just one table. It's scattered. Okay, So let's suppose we have a table, employee ID, full name, department ID, and salary. And data is like 1, 2, 3, name is XYZ, department ID is 101, 102, 101, salary is 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. Now the information about department is in some other table with having department ID and department name. Okay. So 101 department, 102, 103, there are three department, HR, IT, and we have a marketing department. Now, if you have to find that employee ID 2 in which department he is working, then you have to combine these two table, isn't it? So this is table number 1 and this is table number 2. So you have to combine these two table. Now to combine, you have to join this table. To join this table, you have to have something in common. So which column is common? So here you can see department ID is common in both the table. So we will treat this as a foreign key, FK. Okay. So this will be acted as a foreign key. Now let's suppose for 2 we will combine this column, this table. So after combination, how it will look like? Let me write it. So it will look something like this: 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z, 101, 102, 101, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. So for 101, department name is HR. For 102, department name is IT. For 10101, the department name is HR. So the joint table will look something like this. Okay, just to give you an idea. So if we just go and search like, okay, employee ID is working on which department? So this column we have to consider, and this department ID is 2, so it will go into this table and it will look, okay, 102 is IT department. So it will say that, okay, employee number 2 whose name is Y works on IT department. So this is how the concept of foreign key works. If we have to combine two tables, so it basically it is a column in a table that give reference the primary key of another table. Okay, so because here department I sorry in this table, which is primary key, department ID. Here, which is the primary key, employee ID. Foreign key was a column which was referencing to the primary key of another table. Okay, and it should be common basically. Okay, so this is how actually foreign key works. And basically to find link between two tables in future videos, we are also going to see joins, which is really important. Okay, so okay, so let me write some definition of foreign key maybe. Okay, so this let me write it foreign key. Okay, so it is a column in a table that reference the primary key of another table. Another table. It basically links to table, which we call it as referential integrity. If someone asks you what is referential integrity, to combine two tables which having, you can explain foreign key actually. Okay, so here you can see in a it is a column in a table that reference to primary key of another table. Okay, what are the key points? So it can contain duplicate values. So here you can see that if you see it here, that this department ID can contain duplicate values because X is working on 101 department, so Z can also work in 101 department. Okay, now you will ask me that why don't we store in such way? Why we are breaking it? Because in reality it doesn't work like that. Let's suppose you are having a table for products, you are having a table for sales, you are having a product table for orders, you are having table for your clients and all. So different tables are there, and in future we are going to also see the normalization. So it is not like you have to just combine the columns and you are good with creating the tables. The table should be normalized. I will tell you what actually normalize it, because here you can see that this HR will repeat a lot of time. So we have redundant rows. So this is not a good practice. So what we can do is we can break this table into two tables. One will be this table and one will be this table. So such that this table will only contain the information about which department. It will contain only information about department ID and department name, and this will be containing the all the employee information. Okay, such that it can be more normalized. I will explain you what actually normalization is, but as of now, just trust me that everything can't be in a one table. Okay, so first key point is foreign key can also contain duplicate values, as we have seen here, because employee ID can have one employee ID can have multiple department IDs. Okay, and can also contain null value if the relationship is optional. For example, if there is a new person, okay, if someone came, like let's suppose a new employee came which is 4, whose name is P, maybe we have not assigned any department, okay, and the salary is, let's suppose, not that, let's suppose he is an intern, and we haven't assigned him to a department, so definitely it can be also null. So null values can also be there in the foreign key. Okay, I think that much is enough. Okay, so let's summarize each and everything. And definitely, the practical of primary key, we have already seen that whenever we are creating some columns, or when we are creating a table, we define the constant as primary key, primary, and the column become as primary key. The practical of foreign key is really important, which we will be seeing in future videos, not in this video, as this is going to be a theory video, because understanding foreign key is also a big task. So that's why we will see it, okay, in future. So now let's summarize it. So we will have key type, unique, null allowed, okay, because functionality I have already explained you. So I will just summarize this table. So summarize the video. The key type, first key type is primary key. So primary key, it is already unique and nulls are not allowed. Then we have foreign key. So I have explained you that it is not unique and null values are allowed. Okay, if you missed it, please go and again watch this video. So composite key, composite key will it will be always unique, but null values are not allowed. Then we have candidate key, all the keys which are in the race of becoming primary key. So it is also unique, but here also null values are not allowed, because all the candidate keys are having a dream of primary key. So they will follow the path of primary key. If primary key is unique and not null, then obviously candidate key, super key, alternate key, all will be like that only. Okay. Then we have alternate key and super key. So super key will be also unique and not null, unique and not null. Okay, because they will work like they should follow the rule of primary key. Okay, then we have a unique key also. Okay, so unique key, by the name it is clear that it will be unique. And null allowed, yes, null is allowed, but only one null is allowed. So this is the very basic difference between primary key and unique. Sorry, I don't know why my iPad was just closed. So this is the very basic difference between primary key and unique key, such that only one null value is allowed. Okay, in primary key, no null value is allowed, but in unique key, there is one null value is allowed. Okay, so this is a summary of all the keys that we have studied. We have studied a lot of keys: primary key, alternate key, super key, composite key, foreign key. This was a good theory video. In the next video, maybe we will be having a revision session, or we will see joins, or maybe the practical of foreign key. But I am thinking you to show the practical of foreign key in some other videos. It will be part of that video. Okay, we will see. We will figure out what to learn next. Okay, I think that's it for today. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please comment, share, and if you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section. Thank you. Meet you in the next video. Till then, bye bye.